I'll let you guys know. You're welcome.
Good evening. If you would please rise, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Here.
Saunders?
Here.
Rhodes? Here. Spinks? Here. Cochee?
Here.
Mezak? Here. Janutus?
Here. Council, you have the minutes of the work session of October 21st, 2019. Any corrections? Seeing none. A motion for acceptance by Mezak, second by Rhodes. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mezak?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes. And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st, 2019. Any corrections to those? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance by Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mezak?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes. And we come to one of my favorite parts of the meetings is proclamations. And we have one tonight for Sharon Macklin, which is just a terrific thing that we get to do this proclamation for her. You saw on the news about the guy that drove around the school bus and almost hit a child, and luckily the bus driver was on her game that day and called the student back into the bus. Where that guy was driving, who knows, but I would like to call Ms. Macklin up to the front, please. Listen, I mean, we're very proud of what you did. I know the school's proud of it, and certainly the girl's family is very proud of what you did. And, you know, to save that kid from stepping out, from what I understand, she likes to get off the bus and just go running. And the way that guy came around the street, it would have been a horrible consequence. But thank you for being there and paying attention to what was going on. And because of that, I want to present you with this proclamation. Whereas the City of Bedford wishes to honor Sharon Macklin of the Bedford City Schools, and whereas Sharon began her career with the Bedford City Schools in 1983, retired in 2013. During that time, she's held many positions, from school bus operator to custodian to security. In 2014, she returned to Bedford City Schools as a bus operator in 2014. And whereas Sharon Macklin is being selected by City Council for saving a student's life on October 9th, 2019, from getting struck by an oncoming vehicle while dropping her off at home. And whereas Sharon received Employee of the Year for the school district 1999, and whereas Sharon, by being a dedicated bus operator, has made significant contributions to the peace, health, safety, and welfare of her students. Therefore, I, Stan Cochee, Mayor of the City of Bedford, on behalf of the City Council and our citizens, do hereby publicly commend Sharon Macklin for being the citizen chosen to be honored and for her unselfishness and dedication to the welfare of her children. Congratulations. Thank you. It's the young lady that you saved. After everything happened, and we viewed the taping, it was kind of funny because when you got off the bus and she called you back, you thought you did something wrong. You did nothing. and just thank you for being there, and thank you for listening instead of just ignoring and running off. So it worked both ways. So thank you so much. It's so good to see you here and upright and no problems anywhere. So thank you, and Sharon, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, now we got to get on with business. Ordinance number 9730-19.
Did we do the minutes?
Yes, we did.
All right.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to apply for the fiscal year 2019 through 2020 Community Development Block Grant Fund through the Cuyahoga County Department of Development for the televising of the city's sewer system and declaring an emergency.
And to make a motion for suspension by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mezak? Yes. Janutus?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Rhodes, second by Saunders. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a grant program offered through Cuyahoga County that we apply for each year. Various projects, streets, water projects. In this one, it's been since mid to late 90s that we've actually televised the sewer system to identify areas that are in need of repair for future work. It's our intent to start, we won't be able to televise the entire city system, but we want to start with some of the areas that we believe there might be some issues, and we would utilize these grant dollars to perform that.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mezak?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Ordinance number 9731-19.
Authorizing the city manager to apply for a community development supplemental grant fund for the phase 2 of the city sign initiative and declaring an emergency.
And motion for suspension by Mezak, second by Rhodes. Call the roll.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mezak?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is also a county grant program. We were successful in obtaining the funds this year, $50,000. We also have some funds that were also set aside for our first phase of the sign initiative. For those of you unaware, we did work with a company called Guide Studio. They've worked with cities such as Kent, Sandusky, South Euclid, as far as wayfinding signs, gateway signs, downtown signage, all of those different signs. We had a small committee, they worked, we had some designs done, we shared them at some meetings, shared them with council. Ultimately, we went out to bid, we received a very good bid package. We already have funding for the first half of it. This will actually secure funding for the second half of that project. It started, the first phase already started. There's some fabrication already begun with the company, and the intent is to have all of them up and installed by June of 2020.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mezak? Yes. Janutus?
Yes.
Ordinance number 9734-19.
An ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of not to exceed $935,000 in notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purposes of paying the cost of acquiring a new pumper and a new ambulance for the use of the fire department, together with all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency.
And need an ordinance
Third reading
for
already.
third reading. Yeah. Motion for third reading by Rhodes, second by Saunders. It's our need to remove this, or to defeat it, because we're going a different direction as far as funding.
Yes, this would be our normal standard procedure for funding the fire truck and the ambulance. However, we looked at alternatives that were better, and in this case, we found a 10-year lease that we could do for the equipment. The rate would be 2.3% versus what we would have paid on bonds. We got a great, we bid that out with the various banking institutions, and were able to get a very good rate. And in lieu of instead of going through the bond process, which is a year-long entry for issuance of the debt to pay the cost of the pumper and all that, then go into bonds, we were able to get this at a lower rate, and ask council to go ahead and approve that this evening in lieu of the bonds. So it's a better alternative. So we'll turn this down and then pass the 8C, which is the ordinance for a master lease agreement, which we have locked in for already at 2.3%.
Right, thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
No.
Saunders?
No.
Rhodes?
No.
Spinks?
No.
Cochi?
No.
Mizek? No. And Janutus?
No.
Ordinance number 9737-19.
Repealing section 505.11 entitled Coloring Rabbits and Baby Poultry Sale or Display of our codified ordinances of the city and declaring an emergency. Well, I'm not sure. I think it's a second reading, right?
No, third reading.
Although they don't need suspension.
Needed, okay, good. I have a motion for third reading by Ezak, second by Rhodes. This is just an effort to get rid of some useless ordinances that are on the books. We're gonna start doing this time and again to just clean up some of these useless ordinances that just aren't needed anymore. That said, call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochi?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
And Janutus?
Yes.
Ordinance number 9738-19.
An ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and expenditures of the city of Bedford, Ohio during the year 2020 and declaring an emergency.
And this is all part of our budget process, and we need to put that on second reading. Can I have a motion for such by Janutus, second by Spinks? Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochi?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Ordinance number 9739-19.
Authorizing the city manager to sign a grant conservation easement to West Creek Conservancy and declaring an emergency.
And it's our wish to put that on second reading. Motion for such by Mizek, second by Rhodes. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochi?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Ordinance number 9740-19.
Amending chapter 1949 entitled Signs of our codified ordinances of the city and declaring an emergency.
Again, we wish to do this on second reading. Can I have a motion for such by Spinks, second by Fluharty? Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochi?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Resolution number 2546-19.
A resolution of public censure as to Councilperson Donald Saunders.
It's our wish to remove this from the agenda. Motion for such by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochi?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
And Janutus?
Yes.
Reports, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Few items. Just a reminder that we have started on our leaf collection. If you can get that out, try to keep that on the tree lawn. We've had some instances where it's going in the street. Understand that does block the catch basins, and we want to try to avoid that. We will have our crews going through the entire town. We'll make it through the entire town multiple times, and we'll get through as quickly as possible. Hopefully the weather cooperates. Couple dates, just to friendly reminder, November 11th is coming next Monday, will be Veterans Day. Our Veterans Day ceremony is going to be held at Veterans Park for all of you that are able to attend at 11 o'clock. Thank you. And we also have on November 27th our annual lighting ceremony down at the square. Obviously always a great event as well, and hope to see everyone. We are working through the sidewalk program. We should have that wrapped up this week. I know they were working over in an area of Melba and had to do some additional pouring. And again, the anticipation is it'll be completed this week. As far as the Union Street, that project is still looking like it should be wrapped up by November, by the end of November, Thanksgiving. We are having some challenges this evening. If you've noticed, our crews have been out there, as well as Fabrizi's crews, trying to install a new valve and getting that water shut down. We will be out there as long as it takes this evening to get that wrapped up. Another reminder for those of you with children, we're starting something new down at the Recreation Parks and Rec Department. We're going to be offering a winter camp. Those of you familiar with, we do offer it throughout the summertime. But we are going to try to offer something through the winter while the children are on their winter break. It'd be good to get them involved in some activities, and we're going to be offering that down at the Recreation Center. So visit our website, that's all posted online. And lastly, we had the mayor, myself, and Jennifer Kuzma had an opportunity to welcome a new business last week. They were in our downtown area on Broadway, the business that acquired Mr. G's. They're moving pretty quickly. They presented some renderings to us. It's going to be a great addition to our town. Professional insurance business. It's going to bring about 15 to 20 employees, and it'll be a good fit. They really wanted to be in Bedford, and they were looking for just about 2 years until we found this site. And Jen did an outstanding job making all this work, so kudos to her. End of report.
Thank you. And I want to add on to what you just said about this company. They said we met down there, they gave us some renderings, and they're going to fix the place up really nice. But I think the more important thing, and I got a handwritten note from the owner of the business, said, we are excited about our big move to Bedford. Jennifer and Mike are spectacular leaders, and they took my vision to heart. His handwriting's kind of... Once we get settled, I'd love to become a deliberate advocate for other small business to move to your city. Thank you again, Mike Burnett. I thought that was a pretty nice handwritten note from him that they're just thrilled to be here, and they're leaving Beechwood, coming here because they like it a lot better. They love our old downtown area. So that's a great thing. Thank you. Mr. Law Director.
Just briefly, just welcome BBG Inc. to the community, and congratulate Ms. Macklin, and remind everybody to vote tomorrow. End of report.
Thank you. Mr. Finance Director.
Yeah, just to let you know, we are finishing up the fire lieutenant's test. The Civil Service Commission is working on that. Thursday night we'll have the final results of the promotional test. Also, reminder, 8C, we have to pass that tonight. We do need to get those funds in this November. We'll have the funds for the ambulance and the fire truck. So please pass that, we'll get this adopted tonight. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Mr. Fluharty.
I just want to wish the candidates for voting or the election tomorrow good luck for Ward 3. We're at the Villa Arts. I know there's a lot of construction over there. The best way to get in there is off Northfield and Union, not the other way. I don't even know if they let you through there or not, but just go in by across from Sunoco there where they're doing all the construction. Good luck. But anyhow, that's all I got today in the report.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders.
Yeah, to play off of that, tomorrow is election day. Every ward has something on the ballot. So just because you may not have a council race that has opposition, make sure you get out and vote. There's important issues for school board on there. There's a Tri-C issue on there, and there's a county council issue dealing with the sheriff's department. Those last three issues are on the ballot for everybody in the city. Ward 6 is the only one that actually has opposition. So I encourage everybody to get out and vote. It's a right that a lot of people have died for over 200 and some odd years in this country. And we need to get people to take an interest in this country again. So with the lack of time and the fact that we got to get up early tomorrow morning, that's it for tonight.
Thank you. Mrs. Rhodes?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I don't have too much tonight. I just wanted to thank everyone for attending the Dios de los Muertos event that we had this past First Friday. We had a lot of fun, and we celebrated a lot of our ancestors this past Friday. I just also want to let you know our next First Friday is December 6th and has to do with community organizations. We're hoping to be able to set up tables from local community organizations so that you can get to meet them and maybe think about volunteering for one of them. That's all for me this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mrs. Spinks?
Good evening, everybody. Mike, there was the storm that was Thursday night on Halloween, and Friday we had some more wind, heavy winds and stuff. I know the chipper is no longer out, but there's quite a few I know in my ward. I don't know about the other wards. Some limbs down, people have them on the tree line. Or are guys gonna pick those up, or what do we do with
I
that?
don't believe they had the chipper out, but I'll check that tomorrow, and I'll find out, and I'll send something out to notify. I know we're not doing a whole nother run,
Yeah.
but I'll find out if it's available or
There's
not.
a few calls on Glen, and I got a couple of calls, a couple of limbs, big limbs and stuff, big limbs, so they cut them up and put them on the tree line.
Okay, I'll check and see what we can do.
I know the leaves I know they've started picking the leaves up, so I just had a couple of residents. And on this Friday, on November the 8th, the Historical Society will be showcasing an award-winning quilter, Dee Hart, will be speaking on the history and evolution of the quilts. On Friday, that's a $10 fee for that. And then on Saturday, you can come and, Louise, you can correct me if I get stuff wrong. I'm reading what's off on the Facebook, what I've heard. I believe they're having something on Thursday too. It starts on Thursday with the quilts.
That's the Lyceum.
That's all I see is on Thursday. But this lady is really weaving us some amazing quilts up there. And then on Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can come see them and it'll be on showcase. There is no charge for the Saturday. The Friday night there is a charge. So a lot of great things happening down at the Historical Society. So make sure.
You might want to mention that on Saturday, it's a family.
Yeah, it's family. It is family friendly. Yeah, it says for children and adults. Guests of all ages are welcome with activities for children and adults. I like the
Activities will be in the church basement.
Okay, the church basement.
We're making a friendship quilt.
Okay.
Everybody will be able to get a square of material, draw something on it, sign their name, and then one of the ladies in our organization who does quilting will put it all together and it'll be hung in the museum.
So if you don't have anything to do, go down to the Historical Society this weekend. It sounds like they have a lot going on. End of report.
Thank you. Mrs. Bezek?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, all I can say is I don't have to pack my suitcase yet from this place. I want to thank, and of all nights, my friends from County Club are not here, but whoever's here from Ward 4, and I do see one of my young constituents in the back. Thank you for a great 24 years. It's been a great learning experience because if I had to go to school to learn about city government, reading of blueprints, knowledge of what I've known today that I didn't know 34 years ago, 24 years ago, I thank the city for the hands-on training on the job. It's been a great experience to be here. I took my oath to serve the people of my ward that have elected me. It's been a pleasure. We've made a lot of friendships. I've had quite a few conversations that lasted more than 10 to 15 minutes. And I think if we put Heather's grain over here would turn into cement by the time I was through. So we will pass on that, but I just wanted to give Ward 4 a big shout, saying thank you. And I do love everybody in the city of Bedford regardless. Whoever calls me, I'll try to help you as best I can or make it accommodating for you and send you in the right direction to take care of what your concerns are about. Thank you so much, and see you after election day.
Thank you. Mr. Janutus.
Well, I gotta tell you all, I had one of the greatest speeches Abraham Lincoln would have been proud of. It was gonna be my best report ever, but thankfully, because the resolution for public censure has been removed, I won't have to deliver it. It's on its way to the compost pile, so end of report.
Thank you. I'd just like to say, I think anybody got applause for their... The Day of the Dead turned out, it was really a neat thing, and it was very positive. It wasn't a Halloween thing.
No, it's not.
To honor our family members and friends who passed before us, and it was really well done, and I want to thank you, but we had a nice time down there.
Thank you for attending, we appreciate it.
And we need to have the police start paying attention to parking on the lawns again. It goes through a cycle, and they just, everywhere I look now, there's cars back on the lawns, and it's starting to look kind of bad again. Paula, you had something?
I have one more thing. Were you done?
Yes.
I want to extend the congratulations to my counterpart, Mr. Hardy. They just celebrated their wedding anniversary today, of all days.
And here I am.
Us tonight, and he didn't bring any cake, but we'll be okay. Congratulations, dear.
Thank you.
Catch up to me.
Now I'm getting there.
Our congratulations to Sandy for...
Yes, that's right. Couldn't have done it without her.
Okay, let's move on to new business. Ordinance number 9741-19.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 9648-18, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Hawthorne Valley Youth Council for the purposes of sponsoring students in the program for the year 2019 through 2020 and declaring an emergency.
Okay, a motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mezak?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Rhodes. Mike? Well, actually, I can take this. The Hawthorne Valley Youth Council, they teach young kids from the high school on the function of government. And these kids really put a lot of effort into it. They actually do a Supreme Court hearing. They go down to Columbus and do it. They get to sit in the Supreme Court chambers. It's really nice. These kids are some of the cream of the crop up to high school, and we're just so proud to have them doing that. And we're so happy to sponsor the 4 kids to go do this. It's held in Oakwood, and each community has 3 or 4 kids in it. So our kudos to them and to Deb Ladke, the clerk of council in Oakwood, for heading up the program. She does a great job with the kids, and they get a lot out of it, and it's helping to build some better citizens for us and someday to take our positions up here.
Mr. Mayor, can I mention something?
Yes.
This year, the Hawthorne Valley Youth Council will have like a little twist to what they had been doing. The emphasis this year will be on community service projects. So, all of you who think of good ideas for community services that these kids could get involved in, you might want to pass them along to me, because it could be an opportunity. But I just want to point out, that's a new emphasis this year.
Well, that's good to hear. And Wally is our representative to that group. So Thank you for your work there. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Ordinance number 9742-19.
Providing for the adoption of new matter in our codified ordinances to approve, adopt, and enact the October 2019 replacement pages to the codified ordinances, to repeal certain ordinances in conflict therewith or deemed obsolete and declaring an emergency.
And need a motion for suspension by Rhodes, second by Saunders. Call the roll.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Fluharty, second by Spinks. John, you want to do it?
Sure, it's just, this is, changes it to our codified ordinances that are mandated by the state of Ohio that we adopt so that we can enforce them locally. It's a financial matter, basically. So if we charge under our local code, we get to retain more money if we charge under state code. That's basically the reason, but that's it.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Ordinance number 9743-19.
This is what Frank was talking about passing tonight. Our ordinance authorizing the execution of a master tax exempt lease / purchase agreement and property schedule thereto between Key Government Finance, Inc. and the city, providing for the lease and eventual acquisition of an ambulance and a pumper for the fire department and related matters and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Janutus, second by Spinks. Call the roll.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Mezek. First, before we get into the explanation, I just want to thank Frank for all the work he did into this. By doing a lease instead of the usual bond process, which takes months and months, we're saving a lot of money. And I'm just glad that you found out about this lease thing and, again, doing your due diligence, and we appreciate the work you do for us in those matters.
And we put the banks against each other regarding the note issues and the bonds, and then we put them against each other on the leases and different types of leases and various alternatives that we could do. And at the end result of this schedule, that gave us the best financing that we should do on those trucks. So we're going to ask council to pass. It's over 10 years, Key Bank at 2.3%. So please pass this and we'll move forward. Funds will be available before the 25th of November on a drawdown basis.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Good. Now comes that portion of hearing of citizens. If you wish to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comment.
Carmen Basili, President, Southeast Region Chamber of Commerce, 33 South Park, Bedford, Ohio. Over the past couple of months, I'm sure, as I've heard from some of you, that there's been talk here about that there's no chamber for the city of Bedford. That is not true. Chamber has been restructured. City of Bedford did not lose its membership in the chamber. You were actually taken from a general membership to what you should have been, an affiliate membership, meaning that you do not pay to be part of the chamber. You automatically will retain membership on good standing. If there was an issue with that, I'll be more than happy to discuss that with any of you. The other stuff that has gone on since then is kind of appalling. With personal attacks coming from Ward 1 council member and her husband online, especially making comments about stuff that we had done in the past, telling people and saying stuff online and in the park, as well as getting up on the microphone, making announcements that people should not use or come to our cafe, okay? But telling us that we stole donation money that was given to us. And that was said by Mrs. Spinks, and it's in writing by Mr. Spinks. So, just so everybody knows, an LLC is not a nonprofit. You can give money to a for-profit company. It is not considered a donation. We've gone over this because we've been asked several times, and I think the majority of you have also asked, and we've told numbers. So Mr. Spinks and Mrs. Spinks, to help you out with the numbers, for our GoFundMe, write this down, please. It was $624. For the TV raffle, that was $1,837. Both of those amounts were claimed on our taxes because they can't be donations to us. We have to claim that. As a for-profit, it's considered profit. Do I still have that cash? Yes, we do. Then there comes the accusation that we had raised $10,000. Not true. Never even got close to that. There wasn't even a $10,000 amount in the range for the hood. The hood itself was $12,000. The install was $12,000. Another $5 or $6 for the level 1 fire suppression. That didn't count gas line, $10,000 or $9,000 stove, and other extras. $6,000 to $7,000 for stainless steel on the wall. But this has just been ridiculous with you two. And you sit there and smile because you think you're so smug. But let me explain why Mr. Spinks was removed as the chamber president. Because it was a complete 100% unanimous vote.
This isn't the place for that. We are not affiliated, I mean, we're not, the chamber's not part of the city. I think we want to go to
But
that.
I don't think it's gonna be any good to become of it. I mean,
But can it stop?
I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you, but I think you made your point.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Ready for this? Jim O'Neill, 155 Blue Lemon. Been here 56 years, okay? You're the boss of council, right? You got people telling other people not to go to a business in town. You got a downtown alliance? What is it for? What's the purpose?
And we promote all of them.
You support all the
We
businesses?
support all of them.
Yeah?
We have
Okay.
never, ever.
All right, as head of council, sir, I think Councilman Spinks should be censored. Okay? You agree?
No?
You don't? Why don't you agree? Why do you have one of your members of council
Some of the statements.
telling people not to patronize a business in the city of Bedford?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in you, Stan.
No.
Election's coming soon.
Well, there's three sides to every story.
Yeah.
Yours, mine, and the truth, so.
Yeah, what is the truth? Tell me the truth. I don't get around much. I don't show up much here because I can't take it, man. If you listen to what you guys do in this city, your service department is the best in the world. See when your leaves get picked up. See when the branches get picked up. There's 3 cities. Gotta call this the branch city. Not doing a good job, Steve.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Angela Coons. I'm the CEO for Welcome Home Community Development Corporation, and I'm the treasurer for the Southeast Region Chamber of Commerce. The chamber's gone through some restructuring.
Address, please.
Pardon me?
Address, please.
Oh, 33 South Park Street. The chamber, as Carmen said, has gone through some restructuring. However, We are a business, you're a business, you've had to go through some things, we've gone through some things, and we've handled them, we believe, honorably. Sadly, I was on the square when Mrs. Spinks, who has not been censored, called Jennifer Basili a no-good whore.
Now that's enough.
Oh no, it's not enough. It would have been enough for
This is
you.
hearsay. John Montello, as the law director of the city, I am not gonna be set up here. This lady I have never met, I have never spoke to, she has personally, attacked me on Facebook or social media. I've never met you, ma'am. I don't know what your problem is, but you know what? I worked very hard and I did this
I
stuff.
think you're out of order,
Well, I would
I
caution,
think
it's
you're
just,
out of order.
because I do have the floor.
But I've never met you,
I think
ma'am.
you're out of order.
but you're disrupting a public meeting, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm going to ask you
and
to
I'm not gonna
stop,
sit up
please.
here and have someone hearsay.
Well, it's not hearsay when I heard it, and even though you were spewing it, you didn't see me standing there. So this goes on, with this family disparaging a business who has tried to make good here in the city. So that concerns me as a business owner, and it also concerns me as the treasurer of the chamber. The other thing that concerns me is that we do have a lease with the city, and the city chose to evict us from our our office, and that's okay. It was written in the lease that the city could give us 90 days notice, so we could give them 90 days notice to move. That's all fine. But the challenge was that the eviction notice, which we could have done it by a handshake, but we received an eviction notice, and it was taped to the office door, and a picture was taken of it. And then when I wasn't in the office, they took it off the door and took it over to the Bedford Falls Cafe and taped it on their door and took a picture of it. And Jen Basili walked into her office or into her place of business to find an eviction notice on her door on the Bedford Falls Cafe, and they don't run the chamber business. So that notice should have stayed on the chamber door, and I would have gotten it when I came into the office. So that whole procedure bothers me, that it's a constant harassment of a business who is part of the chamber, and the chamber does advocate for our local businesses. City workers were told, and we were told by city workers, that they were told not to frequent the business. They have not been in the business, but if they did frequent the business, that they were going to be fired.
That's not true.
We'll have to talk with the city officials about that. As the chamber, the Christmas in Bedford Falls event was removed from the chamber. We've been sponsoring it and running it for a good many years. And no phone call, no letter, no courtesy to the chamber to say, hey guys, the city's gonna run the event this year. So how we found out the city was gonna run the event this year was some A-frames were missing from the office. And so I texted Heather Rhodes and I said, hey, what do you know about this? And she said, I don't know anything about it. Maybe Mike had somebody come in and get the A-frames. So I contacted Mike and I said, did you have somebody come in the office and get the A-frames? And he said, well, maybe a city worker realized that part of them are down at the shop and part of them were with the businesses, and we were trying to just get them all together. So apparently everybody knew before the chamber that we were not running the event this year. We as a chamber are supposed to work hand in hand with the communities to better the businesses. And what we're feeling like, I just want it to be noted that what we feel like is that you're trying to push us out of the city of Bedford. But this chamber was founded in the city of Bedford in 1938. My family came way before 1938. The chamber has blood here, I've got blood here. I joined the chamber so that I could do good for the city, for the businesses, and for the residents of the chamber. And now I'm feeling personally attacked as a chamber member by all of the uncourtesy and disrespectful behavior that is going on. We're business professionals. Give me a phone call. Give Carmen a phone call. Give him a letter. Send me an email. Say, hey guys, this year we want to run the event. Okay, great, run the event. But let's run it together. That's what we do. That's how we're supposed to work together. I was going to run for office against you, Stan. I didn't know you were running, but I was going to run for office.
I'm not running,
Pardon me?
not running now.
I know, and I'm not running either. But when you ran, I was going to run for council, and I called the city of Bedford and I said, hey, what's it take to run for mayor? How do you, what do I have to do? I no sooner hung up the phone, which I don't even think my phone clicked, that I got a dial tone. Dan Postic called me back. He said, so you think you're running for mayor? I said, yeah, I think I'm going to give it a consideration. He said, you go ahead and try that. That was my first threat from the city, or for somebody who worked with the city. Then I was going to run, I considered giving a run for council, and I was told by Miss Rose how I should do it, but that the best thing that I would need to do if I was going to run was I was going to have to find something dirty to run on against my opponent.
I think you're good. There's nothing good to become of this conversation. I mean,
Well, there is,
I
because
can personally
to the-
attest that there are several falsehoods in
Yes,
this
exactly.
email, or this speech so
the
far,
challenges with
that I can actually
businesses
document.
the challenges with the businesses in the city are that they don't want to speak up because they're afraid that things will happen to them. And so, as a chamber, we've heard this time and time again, and we'd like to work to make this a more friendly environment for the businesses that do exist here in the city.
thank you.
Hello. My name is Elizabeth Scurr. We're on 662 Highland Avenue. 662 Johnson Avenue. My husband and I moved to Bedford about 3 years ago. We have 5 children, and even though we homeschool, our kids are very plugged into the community. We love our neighbors, love the city of Bedford. My husband grew up here. And for the last couple of years in the summers, we have been having problems with teenage boys playing basketball on the streets. So we are on a corner property between Johnson and Ivanhoe, and it usually starts around, snow melts, weather gets nicer, school lets out, and the group of 25 boys easily will be coming down the street and it starts playing, and sometimes they don't stop till about 10 o'clock at night. So we have been, between the neighbors, whoever can, call the police. And we usually I don't call the 911 number. I'm a nurse and I feel like if it's not a life and death emergency, that it should not be, utilized. So we just call non-emergency police number. Usually they send police officers out, and we have not had problems with them coming out. Usually they come out really quickly. They will talk to the boys. A lot of the times the basketball hoop will be in the middle of the street. A lot of the times they don't even move, so there's a lot of honking going on. And I guess the biggest problem is I have 3 children under the age of 10, and we don't have air conditioning, so majority of the time my windows will be open. The language, the music that's being used, it's absolutely atrocious. And it's not just from time to time, there's a bomb that goes off, but it's all the time. The quality of life in the summer for us, it's absolutely horrendous. My kids now will, we have a fenced-in backyard, they have a trampoline and a little swing set, which they can't use because the majority of the time it's mom, the boys are out there, we can't do anything. And I feel like we get it from all the sides. So we get it from Ivanhoe and we get it from Johnson. And the way the properties are kind of combined, they're kind of connected in the back in the yard, so they're like kind of running all over the place. There's a lot of hide and seek game going on. There's no respect for people's property, there's garbage all over the place. So I guess what we're asking is that we don't mind kids playing. We grew up the same way, you know, running the streets, whatever. But the language, and there's no, I guess, there's really no, I guess, what's the line of where it just kind of stops? You know, if we call the police officers once and they talk to them, and then sometimes we call them 3 or 4 times that same day, like parents are never home, you know. So I guess we're asking, is there something in place where if you're called once because you're being extremely disruptive, you know, to the neighborhood, we can't use our front porch, we have a beautiful front porch, can't use it, can't sit out there, you know, is there some kind of a cutoff line where they're gonna be asked to be sent home? If you don't live in one of these houses, then go play, you know, go play by your house. I mean, I don't know if other people would put up with it. We don't have problems with our neighbors, but this is like all summer long, and I feel like I shouldn't have to make constant plans not to be around, or say, come on, we'll go to the park, or we'll do something else. If you can, I feel like we're prisoners of our own home when this goes on. So I guess we're just asking that some of these things would be, you know, discussed. When we call, you know, how many times is it appropriate to call the police to, you know, help with that kind of situation? Go ahead. So to just,
I'd like to talk to you afterwards as far as some of the specifics.
okay. Yeah. But yeah, we don't have problems with the city police officers. Those are very pleasant. There's one dispatcher who answers usually, she's a lady, I don't know her name. She answers on a non-emergency line, and it's always like, well, we can't, you know, sometimes she's very rude, and she'll tell me, well, we can't stop him from using a language. And I get that, you know, that in their home, they're allowed to speak, however, but if we have to be exposed to that. I have a neighbor who has 6 little children, you know, that are all under the age of 10. And it's very disruptive. It's, you know, definitely affects our quality of life where we live, and we don't rent the house, we, you know, own our home, so it's just been a little bit of a challenge. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Penny Codner-Wood. My family has been in Bedford for over 72 years, and this is my first council meeting.
Excuse me, address, please.
395 Columbus Street. And with everything that's been going on, I do want to say, with the announcement made today, I wanted to thank those that have put politics and this mess behind them and are getting back to putting Bedford first. Also for Ward 6, go out and vote Don Saunders and keep Bedford first. Thank you.
Thank you.
On a lighter note, this is a tough act to follow here. 10-286 Marion Drive. I'd be remiss if I didn't know Sharon was getting a proclamation tonight. I'm glad I was here for that. Sharon is one of our many unsung heroes for the Bedford City Schools. She graduated from Bedford. I went to school with her brother, and come from a solid family. And I wasn't surprised when I heard that she was a bus driver. Actually, I recognized your voice on the tape, and that's a tough job. I don't know. There's 3 things I couldn't be. One's a policeman, one's a teacher, one's a school bus driver. Somebody get hurt. You know, that's a tough job. And we've got some wonderful drivers in this district, and she's just a byproduct of what we're producing over there as employees, and I'm so proud of her and the work that they do down at the garage. Real quick, Frank, instead of going with the lease, and instead of going with the bond, rather, I'm going with the lease. Is there a cap on that amount you can can borrow?
No, but we just did it in line with the two pieces of equipment, and then we have to have a purpose for it. And we had a 10-year limitation for the equipment useful life, so we were limited there too.
So
it's pretty
so
well
you're capped out at 10 years?
Yes.
Would that be something that's open to the district?
Well, many times your district does use leases in regards to buses. Many times they'll do that too as an option. It depends on how the market's going. We have an inverted yield curve when we did this, so that's a very unusual circumstance where the rates on the long term were lower, so that we got a really nice rate at that time. So it was just a timing issue too, since that rates went down on the short end, 25 basis points, but on the long end, the curve goes back up. So in this case, I thought we did very well overall, and the cost of issuance of the debt at this point, when we're just coming out of the our finances to try to get against meet, is not, it's a good time for just doing this type of transaction directly. Placement, they call it direct placements versus and we bid it also in regards to bonding. They go out that way.
Nice option, kudos to you for finding that out. That saves us a lot of money.
And I look at all the different ways we could do it and options for financing. And this was recommended by one of the banks, and I was kind of surprised that it was this good, quite frankly.
I'll have to look into that. And last, I think last but not least, I'm glad to see that the city's getting involved with the Hawthorne Valley Youth Council. It's a great organization. Debbie does a great job out there. She's been doing it for a lot of years. And finally getting all the other communities. We had talked about it before because it was always open, just the Oakwood kids and that. And so opening up for the communities, it's a great thing for the kids, and she does a great job. So, thanks for getting involved.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Connie Garcia. I live at 67 Avalon. Two things I wanted to say. First thing, which I didn't think I was going to say, was that I've never been to a council meeting before. I found it interesting. I did find it interesting that if you don't agree with what someone says, that you get upset and shut us up. But I thought the council meetings were for when people come and talk about what they need to talk about. So is that correct or no?
Just trying to keep everybody safe here. Someone could be charged with a crime for disrupting. I don't want to see anybody get in trouble. Everybody's made their points. I mean, it's no need to go on and on about it.
Okay.
I think it would just damage
Okay.
relationships further.
Well, the question that I had for tonight was, so I've been seeing in about 3 or 4 different cities, they have these flags, and they're called hometown hero flags. Willoughby has them, I think Twinsburg's getting them. Have you ever seen those?
I think Independence.
They're really nice, and I think they make the city just like look so good. Would Bedford ever consider doing something like that, maybe at the expense of us maybe paying for the flag or whatever? Or like, who do we talk to, or what would we do to maybe find out if we could do something like that? I've been wondering this for a while.
You just did.
Okay.
I think is going to do that as well.
We've looked at how some other communities have done it. Most of the communities, they'll be sponsored, like a family would sponsor that, or
Yeah, I actually took pictures. I was out in Willoughby the other day, and I actually took pictures, and it says like Willoughby, and then it says hometown hero, and then their picture. They're really, really nice, and you kind of drive through there, and you get like this feeling, just like this hometown, nice feeling.
So we've looked at it. There's a couple different designs. We've also had conversations. Where would they go? We haven't committed to anything yet, and we haven't. I mean, obviously, if we would roll it out. Maybe we offer it as an opportunity for families to they can purchase the space on there. The city would purchase the flags, but there's a couple different ways that some communities have done it. A couple different designs. We have some of those, but we haven't rolled anything out yet. But it is something we've looked at.
All right, well, that'd be really cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Mayor, if I might, real quick, just a real quick update on Chanel. They are going to be using Chanel for a film production starting. They're going to start filming next week, last I heard. And It's the Russo brothers out of LA. It's a big deal. So they're gonna be filming at Chanel for the next, probably about the next month, from what I understand.
That's cool. Very good. Yes.
Tony Borsma, 83 Woodrow. I haven't been here 72 years. I want to say it was really nice, the proclamation you gave the bus driver. If something would have happened, it would have been would have had a bad effect on my son's soccer team. She was on our team. Seems like a lot of people are irritated. And 2 years ago, we elected 2 new people to council, right? This year, we have 3 people running, 2 unopposed, am I correct? This town needs to get out and vote. You need to run. You need to do something. I see the same people up here, and no offense to, I don't have anything wrong with any of you people. But some of you do. And nobody runs. You just talk about running, but then you don't. Maybe you're threatened, maybe you weren't. But get involved. I was involved with the Downtown Alliance. I got busy with work. Still a big fan.
Take it back anytime.
Right, and I will be. Some life problems right now. But yeah, if you want your voice heard, get up here and vote. Come to a meeting. You know, I mean, yeah. So, and vote Ward 6. And I didn't know you could do this, but vote Harry Carter. So,
Yeah, we're not supposed to be campaigning at the city.
I didn't think so, but I had to keep it on.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, motion for adjournment. Fluharty, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Thank you all for coming.